All right, guys, so we're back for another session. I'm just gonna add on Canadian tubes, and then we just pick it up from where we started. Okay. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna take it. So you guys just have to like be patient. Okay, perfect. So we're back. So we're back for part 2. Like we've had so much fun. Like just listening to you speak about Canadian immigration. Like I knew 1 hour wasn't gonna be enough because have you guys seen her page? She has so much information on immigration Canada. So I knew 1 hour wasn't gonna be enough. So thank you for bearing with us. Thanks for agreeing to come back again. So I'm just gonna go into the Q&A sessions. Just like Canadian Tobi said before, like if you have more questions, you can use the chat box so I can see the questions. I know some people already like sent me questions prior to this, and then I know one more person asked a question. So I guess the first question is for people who are going to move with their family, for example, like what advice would you give them? What tips can they? Because you know how you're moving by yourself is one thing, but moving your family is another thing. So like what advice can you give them on how best to like prepare, apply, and what to do when you get here?
That's a very good question. A lot of people don't ask that. They just say, what should I do? But specific to family, I would say one of the biggest things you probably need is to be able to drive. So if
Okay.
you, maybe when one of you wasn't driving back home, you had drivers or whatever, you should probably learn to drive, especially if maybe one of the spouses is going to be going back and forth to Nigeria. Because you know it happens a lot where it's like somebody's still keeping their job back home and then going back and forth. So you now have to drive. So learn to drive if you don't know how to drive, because you probably have kids that you have to shuttle back and forth. So and then in that same vein, make sure your license is up to date so that when you come here, you can easily start transferring your license to the Canadian one by doing the drive test, rather than going through the whole process from scratch. So that would be one of the things I would say. The other thing I would say is just like, if you were, you need to figure out your finances. So if, for instance, back home, you used to live in a 4-bedroom apartment. You have $2, your husband, but you live in 4-bedroom, and then you're moving to Canada, you're probably downsizing to 2-bedroom because your children are going to share a room. I would say just try to start getting them acclimatized to that before moving down here, so that you don't have that trouble of like your children being really naughty and then you have to navigate parenting in a new culture and then stuff like that. So get them to start living together, like share a room for a month or 2 months before you immigrate, because you don't want to start dealing with that here where you can't shout at your kids, or you can't do this, or you can't flog them, you know, like things that you can't do now that you probably were doing before. I'm not saying any of this is good or bad. I'm just sharing my own point of view so that nobody misquotes me. And I would say you should definitely read up on parenting in a different country, right? Like it's like there's a lot of things you cannot do anymore. You can't just scream at them when they're pissing you off, because then if you scream at the kids, then you know, and people are watching you, they'll judge you and they'll probably do whatever they can do. Report you or whatever. So you have to learn some of those skills. The things you can't do, that like you can't kill animals for eating sake without like a license or a permit, right? Because like I heard of a couple of stories of people that like kill squirrels when they move to Canada because they're in their backyard, and you know, we eat squirrels back home, we call this bush meat, right? So you can't do stuff like that. It sounds funny, but your kids will report you. Like even if your husband doesn't say anything or your wife doesn't say anything, your kids will tell their teachers in school. And you have to understand that here, kids are encouraged to say anything and everything. Like it's not like back home when you're in school and your teacher like, shut up! Why you're talking too much or whatever? No, if your child wants to say something, they will ask them to say it and give them audience. So you have to understand that your kids will say things that you back home they probably would not tell anybody, because like, nobody's interested in learning. But now the teachers want to know what's happening in their homes. You know, everybody's interested. So things that you do, if you swear at your kids at home, you can't do that anymore. So you have to just get yourself familiar with some of those do's and don'ts, so that you don't get a shock where you're like, why are you talking about mommy and daddy's secret? And the child is like, I didn't know it was a secret, and they're sad and you're sad. You don't want that miscommunication. So just start like familiarizing yourself with what is accepted here, and getting
Yeah.
your kids to know
What's
stuff like
so accepted? Yeah, I'm so happy that you spoke on that. I'm just gonna pick on some things that you just gonna elaborate on some things that you said where you talked about like learning how to drive. Like if you don't know how to drive, learn how to drive before you come here. Like I'm just gonna speak more on that and say that or rather I'm gonna add to that and say learn to be self-sufficient because a lot of things that you take. I'm gonna use Nigeria for example. Like a lot of, because I come from Nigeria, a lot of things that we take for granted, like oh, there's a cook, there's a
there's a driver,
washerwoman, there's a
there's a
driver,
help.
there's a security man. Those things, because of the way the Canadian economy is, those things, hand skills like vocational skills, to pay people to get them here, it's a lot of money. So for you coming in newly as a family, it's not financially wise to just start trying to get those services when it's stuff that you can do yourself.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people that before they come, they start learning how to make hair, for example.
Yeah.
Because when you land, you don't really spend your money on paying $200 to braid for something you can do
It can be
yourself.
expensive when you don't have
Exactly. It's not, we're not saying these things are bad, but like for when you just land and you're trying to settle in, you're trying to make sure that you're spending on things that are very important, right? So learn to be self-sufficient. Whatever skill you can gather before you come here. Like learn how to drive. Uber is expensive.
Tell me about it.
Taking the bus might be convenient, but like it makes your trip longer, and that can be very cumbersome if you're traveling with your kids, for example, you know. So if you can as many skills as you can gather before you come, just do that. That will help you cut down on some expenses.
Yeah.
And then also like one thing that you've been talking about is having a plan. If you've not been understanding it before, because you're coming with your family, you have to be on your A game in terms of having a plan, because you're going to come in, you're going to be feeding not just your mouth, but you're going to be feeding your wife or your husband and you know the kids. So you have to be very on point with your plan, just like you rightly said. Like if it's that one person stays and one person goes, if that's what works for you, great. Or if it's that okay, maybe the whole family comes and then you come in with like $1 billion, for example, great. Like, you know, whatever it is that you're planning, if you were just yourself coming in, you have to take it like 10 times over. Like if you're trying to come in like with maybe $1,000, for example, or $3,000, because you're coming with your family, you probably want to double that, right? Because you want to make sure that you guys are not like financially stranded. And then try to like dot all your T's before you come in. Like for example, reach out to people that you know in Canada, like, you know, or maybe try and go online to see if you can get accommodation before you come in, because the privacy of a friend or a stranger wanting to house one person versus 6 people, you know, that's a different
Six.
You know, we have enough kids back home, so
that's true.
this culture.
That's a good point too.
Yeah, so you have to like dot all your T's, go online, make your research, like make sure that you're on point. Like just don't come in and then not be stranded or whatever. And there's another thing you mentioned about trying to like go online and finding out what to do or what not to do. That is a great point, because you're coming from one culture to another totally different culture. So ignorance is not an excuse. You can't say, oh, you did not know. It's there online for you to know. And another thing you can also research on is resources that are available for low income families. I know some people will be like, oh, am I a low income family person? Drop your pride. When you're coming in, before you get a job, you're regarded a low income earner, or you're regarded a low income person. Use the resources, use the support. Ontario is so great in this. I don't know about other provinces, but Ontario is so great in the sense that they have resources, they have help centers where they give resources to low income families, they subsidize their rent, they subsidize their electricity. Use the help that you can get. Pride has never helped anybody do anything in life. You know, just humble yourself, right? And then the other thing I wanted to say was yeah, all right, okay, I already spoke of what I wanted to speak. So basically, I hope that answers your question for who asked. And then also, okay, the other thing I wanted to say was I guess they were also asking about somebody else wanted to know about proof of funds, like whether it was a different number for an individual versus like a
Yeah.
family, right? So clearly, I mean, that's pretty obvious. It's clearly
Yeah.
going to be a different number.
It
And you know,
increases by the number of people coming with you. Yeah.
exactly. So what I'm gonna do is when we're done, like before I post this video, like I'm gonna also attach links for pages where you like websites on the Canadian immigration where you can actually find like the proof
The
of
proof
funds
of
that is
funds.
tallying
Yeah.
to the number of people that are coming in. Like there, it's not a scam something. If you're 6, you pay more, or rather you have to have more rather for the
Yeah.
proof of funds. Okay. So I guess the other question is okay, you answered this already where you were talking about this person was asking how do I know that I qualify for the federal skilled worker program. And I know you already mentioned it about how you can do like an assessment,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
before they even start.
Criteria. Yeah.
Yeah, criteria. So I'm also going to attach that as well. Let me just write that so I don't forget that. Perfect. And then, oh yeah, so somebody was asking that how soon can they get a job?
Huh.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah, because like it's not a one size
Relative.
fits all
Yeah.
thing at all. Like even two people that have the same profession, like two project managers would get the job at different times, right? Like it depends on
Yeah.
your resume, it depends on
Mm-hmm.
your interviewing skills, it depends on
Mm-hmm.
your charm, it
Mm-hmm.
depends on your, I guess, even how you speak, because it shouldn't be, but some people have bias for people that speak better than others
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're like, well, if you know your English or your grammar is poor, how are
Mm-hmm.
you going to communicate with our clients or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So it's very different for everybody. It also depends on your grace. Like I know some people that their grace is on another level. They never had to
Yeah.
struggle for anything. If
Mm-hmm.
20 people are on a line for something, they'll be
Mm.
the first person picked, right? So
Wow.
it's very different for everyone. But I would just say that if you have a plan, it's
Mm.
faster than if you don't have a plan.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know, and I was one of those people. I did not. I had a plan for immigrating, but I didn't have a plan for after immigrating.
Yes.
Right? Like I had a plan for getting into Canada, but that was when my plan stops. Like
Yeah.
that was the end of my project. I didn't have a project for okay, what's life gonna be outside of after I get into Canada? Well,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was fine because like it was an experience. Like I said
Yeah.
before, it was an experience for me, so I was fine with however it went. Like if I
Mm-hmm.
had to change industries, if I had to do something different, if I had to change my
Mm-hmm.
career path, I was completely
Mm-hmm.
fine with that because I was working in oil and gas, and I knew that I wasn't going to go to the oil and gas province. Well, I didn't know it at the time, but I was open to not going there, right? So for me, it was like wherever God takes me, well, whatever God provides, I'm going to
Okay.
latch onto it. But for
Yeah.
you, you may be a doctor, right? You can't
Mm.
just, and I wouldn't suggest that as a doctor, you just quit on being a doctor and say, well,
Mm.
it's too hard or it's too
Mm.
stressful. I'm just going to go do plumbing or whatever. Like if that's your
Yeah.
dream, of
Mm.
course. But
Yeah.
if it's because of the pressure, then it's because you didn't have a plan. If you know that as a doctor in Canada, you have to go back to school, you have to
Mm.
take exams, then why
Mm.
don't you plan all of that ahead of time and
Mm.
start
Mm.
saving up for whatever exams you have to do, start
Mm.
reading for it, like actually give yourself a plan and a timeline and say, okay, in 2 years I have to have done this.
Yeah.
Because without a plan, it's going to take you forever. I've seen
Mm.
some people that got licensed as an engineer in
Mm.
8 months. I've seen some
Mm.
people that it took 7 years. It's just
Mm.
because of how much you plan it, right? Like
Yeah.
if you just
Mm-hmm.
keep procrastinating, keep postponing,
Mm-hmm.
the time will fill up, right? You will work,
Yeah.
you'll be earning, you'll be enjoying
Mm.
life, you'll be on Instagram watching videos like this, but you're not getting your license, you're not getting what you
Mm.
want until
Yeah.
7 years after. So
Mm.
my answer to that would be your preparation will
Mm.
determine how fast you go.
Yeah. Perfect. That honestly, that's a perfect answer, and I'm happy you said that because again, I feel like most people plan like you know how they make so much effort to even get into the Canada, and then their planning just stops there. So you
That's
also have to have a plan for what happens after.
after,
So
yeah.
you have to have a plan for how you're gonna get your next job,
Yeah.
and also have a plan for how you're gonna get into a career. So that might just merge into one thing if you're maybe for example, and actually that could be two separate things because the thing is there's something they call survival job in Canada, where you just take any job that comes your way, and
We call
you
it
go.
survival job. It's not called survival jobs.
Oh, it's
We name
not.
it survival
Oh, we
because
named it survival.
because it's
Okay.
just a
So I'm
job.
like, where did I
It's
get this
just a
term
job,
from? Yeah,
but we
exactly.
named
It's
it
just a job.
survival jobs.
You're right, because I mean, because these are jobs that Canadians do, and they
Yeah.
make a living out of it. They have a mortgage and all that, and you're like, how do they do this? It's because we came from Nigeria or from Africa, or from another country where we're doing so well. We're like high up in our rank, and then when you come in and you have to start from scratch, you see it as a survival job, but people are actually doing it and are fine. So you have a plan to get that first job. So the job doesn't have to be like necessarily like the best type of job. As long as it's legal, I would say go for it. As long as you can do it. And then you also have to make a plan for how you get that job that you really want. So if it's a regulated profession, that's getting back into your profession. Or if it's a profession that's not regulated, that's you trying to get a job that would meet the standards that you want, basically, right? So have a plan. Like
have a plan,
things,
and then don't just get comfortable. Like always remember what pushed you in the first place. Remember your drive factor, because it's easy to get comfortable. You can get a job where you're earning 50K and it's not too stressful, and you're just like, I'm okay now, you know. But man, if you really think about it, and you know that the earning potential for your profession is 300K, then why are you sitting on your ass? Like, keep pushing.
No, you're facts, because I meet sometimes, even I'm in an Uber, and then I meet some people who came in as like the Uber driver is telling me, oh, I was a medical doctor in my country and I just gave up. And honestly, like, not to judge, like obviously they tried, you know, and probably they had some challenges that they couldn't overcome, but I would rather respect someone who tried than someone who didn't even try at all, right?
Exactly.
Try at all. So just try. Like, if it's something you're passionate about.
Another thing is that, think about it. The more money you make, the more people you can help. Like, actually, let that be your driving factor. Like, there's so many people back home waiting for me to send them money. So I need to upgrade.
Yeah, and they're abroad, so they assume that money is flowing from heaven. So
I can't just be comfortable with like the first job I get or the first 25K I'm earning. I have to think, well, if I can triple this, then I can triple the amount of people I can help, because a lot of people are suffering too, right? So if you have a mind to help people, then that would also push you. So it will make you comfortable with like what you're earning and what you're doing. It will make you go for more, so that when somebody says, please, I need some help, or even before they ask you, you can just send money to, like, I know that things are hard right now. I've just sent you 5K, I've sent you 10K. You know how that can help? Like, imagine when I was back in Nigeria, if someone sent me, it never really happened, but imagine if someone sent me 10K out of the blues. Wow.
That's like
Christmas.
Yes, that's like massive. Like, wow. All right, but yeah, like facts. You're just speaking facts right now. So I guess that takes me to, well, I think we kind of answered this already, but let me just say, like, so this person is asking, can I start applying? Okay, so this person wants to know if they can, like, the probability of getting a job before they arrive. If you could just like speak on that, like, is it like, can they apply before they get here? What's the probability of them actually getting a job before they arrive?
It's higher now than when I first came. So when I first got to Canada, interviews were in person, because that was before COVID, right? Like, you had rounds, you had to, but now you can interview from anywhere in the world. You just tell them, I'm a permanent resident, I'm gonna be landing in 2 months or in 3 months time, I'm trying to get a job. You know, it's like, COVID is terrible, but it made online, you know, it made transitioning to remote and online so much easier for everybody around the world. So my answer to that is hell yes. Well, I shouldn't be saying hell, I'm a Christian, but like, you can, for sure, because it's online. Like, you can work remotely. Just show them your documents that you're a permanent resident, you're applied, you've gotten everything, you're landing in 3 months, all your paperwork is done. You just want to start interviewing now. If they like you, they're gonna give you the job. So
no, facts. Like, you're right. Like, COVID has kind of like changed the game. You know, now people are interviewing virtually. So what I would say is, like, once you get like your, is it called confirmation of permanent residence? Like, there's something they email to you once you've been confirmed. Like, Canadian Immigration emails to you. Once you have that, you can actually start applying for jobs as
Yeah.
long as the job that you can interview for virtually. Like
Yeah.
most jobs actually you can interview for virtually.
Yeah.
Just start interviewing, and you know, you never can tell, like anything can happen. So just don't be discouraged. Like if you want to apply, start applying. Once you get your confirmation of permanent residence, just go ahead.
Exactly.
And then this other person was saying okay, so they wanted to know like when do you do your IELTS? So I guess this person is can maybe what we can do is if you can just briefly go step by step what they need to do, what follows what, because this person is asking when do you do the IELTS test?
Okay.
Is it before you set up your express entry profile or before you get your invitation to apply?
Well, you do need to have the IELTS to be able to submit the profile.
Okay.
So that kind of already answers the question, but
yeah.
I'm gonna go into another. You can't get invited to apply without IELTS because before
Exactly.
you can submit your profile, you have to have all the like at least have your IELTS ready, have your WES and all of that done.
Yeah.
But I have a YouTube video on my channel about like how to handle this as a project and what to do first. And I'm just gonna summarize what I said in that video.
Okay.
So because you're considering your immigration as a project, like it's a immigration project for you. Maybe that's what you call it, Tobi's immigration project. Yeah. You have to see that in projects, not everything will take the same amount of time. Some things will take much longer to be done than others. So those things that will take much longer to be done, you want to start them first, so that they don't become the blocker for the project, right? Because if you let me give a very normal example so that anybody can understand, even if you're not a project manager. Let's say that you want to go buy groceries. You literally just want to go buy a tin of tomato or whatever. You need two things. Let's say that project of going to buy food from the grocery store involves you driving there. But your tank is empty. So if you know that, let's say you want to cook a meal for two, right? You have 1 hour to cook the meal. That's the project. Cook a meal for somebody, because the project is something that has a start and an end, right? So you want to cook you want to cook a meal within an hour. You need to go to the grocery because you don't have food. You need to cook the food before you get the rice. But in order to be able to go to the grocery store, you realize the day before that I don't have any gas in my car. If I wait till the hour to cook my food to go get gas, then go to the grocery store, then cook the food, and that food will not be ready. My guests will come, they'll be upset and they'll leave. So why don't I buy the gas now, the night before, so I have gas, so that within that hour, I don't need to worry about stopping for gas. I can just go straight to the grocery store, buy the tomato and the onions I need, come home and cook the food. That's how you want to consider your project. So when you think about it that way, what's the thing that would take you the longest to be able to get to Canada? It's probably your WES. It's probably your education credential assessment, because it can take months. It can take 3-4 months. So always start with the item on your project, the task in your project, or the work item or the work scope that will take you the longest time, so that it doesn't become the stumbling block to achieving that. So based on that, I would say the first thing to do is start your credential assessment. Get your transcripts. It can take you weeks to even get the transcripts in Nigeria, right? So you want to get all of that out of the way. While and I'm not saying you should wait until it's over. I'm saying do your part. Exactly. Submit the document. That's all you have to do, right? Once you've submitted the document, start studying for IELTS. Write IELTS. Once the document is out, your IELTS is probably done. You have 2 of the things you need to create your profile. You can create a profile, you can submit the profile, you can get invited to apply, and then once you get invited to apply, you do your medicals. You can, so think about it in that way. What can I do concurrently? What can I start and do other things along the way? What will take me the longest? Once you have that mindset for anything, even if it's like I said, cooking, any tiny project, no matter how small, once you have that mindset, your project will always deliver on time, right?
Okay, perfect.
That's a piece of advice from a project manager to you.
Clearly you're a project manager, because I see the way you're saying it, like your project beginning to end. Okay, all right, no worries. So I guess the next question is when should I start building? Okay, before I go to the next question, let me just see if I can chip in a bit into that. So basically what Tobi is telling us today is start working on your West. Now we're talking about federal skilled workers program. Again,
Right.
there are other programs that you can use
Right.
to immigrate into Canada. So do your research. That's the question. Do your research. Okay, what is the program that I'm working towards? Okay, this is the program. What are the requirements? Write it down. Okay, what are the things that I can do for now? What are the things that will take me a longer time to achieve? Let me start those ones first. Right?
Exactly.
So if you're using federal skilled worker as an example, do your West and your IELTS first. Like she said, don't wait for one to happen before you do next. Do it concurrently, right? Do it concurrently. Start with your West early, because getting a transcript out of Nigeria, I don't know about any other country, is like pulling teeth. Like it can be very tedious. Okay, so try and start as early as you can. Okay, and then once you have those are two things, you need those two things to set up your profile. Like your profile, they'll ask you other questions, but those two things will be part of the questions that you need to answer.
Exactly.
You set up your profile, you submit, get into the pool, and you wait for them to invite you. Once they invite you, there are some certain documents that you also have to upload on your profile. That's like another stage. And the way the invitation works is they'll tell you the documents that you need to upload. So that's where things like medical, your proof of funds, and all those other things come in. Okay, so that takes me to my next question. When will be the best time to start building your account for the proof of funds? When is the best time? Do you wait? So basically, I think what they're trying to ask is, are you gonna wait until you get the invitation, or do you do it when you're doing your West and your IELTS as well?
The money, if you're saving, you probably, I don't know about you, maybe you're making $1 million sorry, not $1 million. Maybe you're making $1 million a month, so you can save in 2 months. Again, I think it depends on this question is very relative, right? It depends on your income, it depends on where you're getting the money from. If you're getting the money from your own salary and you're earning 500K, you need to save 4 million. When do you need to start saving? 5 years ago. It's just how it's like, I don't know how to answer the question about that. Like, it depends on your situation. If you know you're getting the money from family, your dad is going to give you the money. Obviously, you can have the money anytime, because you get a gift deed, right, from your dad to say, I'm gifting you this money. So it can literally be 2 days before you're applying. But if you're saving by yourself, if you're selling your land, you're selling your car, obviously you do that ahead of time so that you can build the history. Because they're asking for at least 6 months bank statement, right? So at least 6 months before you're applying, you need to have all of that. But again, if if this is going to happen like way before, like you need years to build up the money. And I said, it's in the past. You have to start saving from the past. But in all seriousness, though, I get what the question means. But again, there is no cut and dry answer, because it depends on where the money is coming from. If you're from a wealthy family that has millions in their account to give to you when you need it, you don't need to do any serious. Am I frozen?
No.
Oh, okay. You seem a bit frozen there for a millisecond. But does that answer the question, though? It depends on where the money is coming from. If it's from your savings, save ahead of time, obviously, because you need to show history. You need to be able to look at it this way. If my job is to scrutinize your application to Canada, because I'm not sure if you are legitimate, right? Like, there's a lot of stereotypes as well. It's like, Nigerians, Africans, so whether or not they admit this, there's that bias, and people would scrutinize our documents more than someone maybe from Europe or whatever, right? You want to give them, without any doubt, in that when they're looking at your document, that you have everything you said you have. So if, for me, I'm looking at your account statement and it makes no sense, like, why were you earning 500,000 naira, and all of a sudden in your account each month you're having 1 million naira? It's like, where is it coming from, right? Like, you want to make sure that there's no questions about like the legitimacy of your income. So have that in mind before you set out your documents. If you know that you need to save up for a while, you need to show other proof that, like, oh well, I sold my car to be able to fund this immigration program, then show that when you're showing your bank statement. Show the car deed, show the receipt from selling the car. Like, think ahead of the game. Think about what questions would this person have? Let me answer the questions ahead of time so they don't have to ask me the questions and delay my application by another year.
Yeah, facts. And then, you know, that everything she just said is like facts, because like there's, you know, it's not a white and black kind of answer. Like it just depends on your situation. Like if you feel like you're not going to be able to get enough money within like a month of applying of uploading your documents, I mean, like once you get your invitation to apply, if you feel like you need more time to start building up your funds, start doing it now. If you're the kind of person that, okay, you know that, okay, once they send you your invitation, because once they send your invitation, you have to apply. Like you can't be waiting like 6 months, you have to apply immediately. So if you feel like, oh, I won't be able to get the money within 1 week of applying, then start building your account from now. Like, do you get what I mean? And then the next question, which you already answered, was saying, can anyone from your extended family or friends give to you for funds? Tobes already spoke on that. She was like, you can get your you can get like a monetary gift from your friends, from your family, from anyone. All you just need to do is to submit like a document or a gift deed to explain.
I have a caveat to that.
Sorry? Okay.
So if anyone has any questions, definitely put it in the chat, in the question box. But I have a caveat to that, just in case I wasn't clear earlier.
Okay.
You can get the money, yes, but the legitimacy of the money is better when it comes from immediate family.
Okay.
So look at it this way. Again, like I said before, you have to think about it from the lens of somebody looking at your application.
Okay.
Why would your friend gift you 5 million naira? Right? Like and Canadians don't gift. I'm sorry to any Canadian listening, but they don't gift money the way we do. It's when you go back home, like you visit somebody and they say, "Oh, take this amount of money just because, right? You came to greet me, so I'm giving you money." They don't kind of like. I don't think any Canadians ever gifted me $1. It's just it is what it is. Like unless you do something for the money, you don't get money for free.
Nothing is free in Canada.
So to a Canadian, it's like, what's your friend giving you millions of naira? Well, in dollars, it's probably like $5,000 or whatever. But why is your friend giving you $5,000 for no reason? It makes no sense. So to them, it's fraudulent, or not fraudulent, but it's fake.
Or suspicious.
So, exactly, it's under suspicion. So when you put yourself in the shoes of whoever is looking at your application, all the questions you have will be answered, because you think about it like, my friend, my uncle's cousin's brother would not be giving me such a huge amount of money, but my parents can give me such a huge amount of money because they are my parents, right? My sister can give me a huge amount of money because maybe she has a lot of money. So your money, you can, again, to answer the question, you can get money from anywhere, but you shouldn't get money from anywhere. Your money should come from your parents. So and there's ways around it. Your parents might not have the money, but your uncle's brother's cousin has the money. So they give the money to your dad, who gives the money to you, right? Again, be smart. Don't be fraudulent, but think smart, think strategic. Like, what would this person think if they saw this application, out of the blue? So.
And I'm happy you said that, because I think a lot of people don't realize that human beings that are really accessing this application, it's not machines, it's human beings. So if something, it's just like what you said, like, think ahead of the game. If something is not making sense to you, that you're submitting the application, it's not going to make sense to the person that is receiving the application. So as much as you can, try
if you're already thinking that maybe then no, it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. Exactly, because it's like how they say in life, that it's like how lecturers tell you stuff like, okay, they explain something to you and they're like, repeat it back to me. If you cannot repeat it back to me, that means it's not making sense to you. So if your application is not making sense to you, it's not making sense to somebody else. So try to make your application as error-free as possible. If you need to attach like extra documents to explain why something is the way it is, then do that, because those are the things that really influence the length of time of processing. Because if your application is too cumbersome, if and I'm not saying they do this. Okay.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I lost the audio for a while, so I didn't know you were speaking.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't mean to speak over you.
Sorry. It's okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay. So like what I was just trying to say was that like try to make your application as error proof as possible. Like think about it as a human being. Like if you have an application on your desk and it's giving you too much problems, you will put it to the side, right? And take
Yeah,
something simpler. I'm not saying
exactly.
I know for a fact that they do this, but it's only logical. Like
But
that
it's
makes
just
sense
human.
to
It's
me.
just human
It's human
nature.
nature, exactly. So try to make your application as error proof as possible. If something's not making sense to you, or if something needs a long explanation,
Or
explain
it's
it.
ambiguous, then yeah,
Ambiguous.
you know that whoever is looking at it will be like, let me have another person look at it because I can't make
Exactly.
a decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like think about it in that way. Like
Yeah.
if you're marking a script, let's say you're a lecturer, and I like to use examples like this because it's very easy to understand. You're a
Yeah.
lecturer and you have like a co-lecturer, like you have
Yeah.
two people in your department, and somebody sends in a thesis or a case study, and
Yeah.
you're like, it might make sense, but it's not making sense to me for sure right now.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
don't I ask my second lecturer to look
Mm-hmm.
at it and
Mm-hmm.
see if it makes sense to them? That's extra time because that lecturer has their own stuff they're doing, so they probably put yours at the
Exactly.
bottom of the pile and then
Mm-hmm.
come back to it later. Whereas somebody that just went straight to the point, answered the question, even if they don't get the highest marks, they get a mark, right? And they
Yeah.
get it
Yeah.
done, and it's
Yeah.
you move on. So
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
all I would say about that.
We have finally come to the end of this session. Thank you.
Already?
Already, we're done. Like, I already feel bad that I had to bring you back again. Like, because I was
Oh
like
no, no,
trying
no!
to like
Don't
keep
feel
it under an
bad. I'm
hour.
glad to do
So,
this.
yeah, yeah. I know you're glad because you love to give us all the information, but I just didn't want to take too much of your time. But,
It's fine. If anyone has any questions, we can still like take questions in the chat for like another couple minutes because I
yeah,
know some people may have asked before, but we missed it. So if there's
yeah.
any burning question, feel free to ask.
Oh, someone just sent me something. Person was like, can they contact you? Like, if they
No,
have
that's what
more.
I was gonna say. Don't send me DMs. Like I do all these
That's
Instagram
what made
live
me just
videos.
laugh. That's what
I
made
do
me just
Instagram
laugh.
live videos. I'm not saying that you can't send me a message to ask a question, but like I get some of these DMs where it's like, "Oh, I saw you. You're so beautiful. I'm interested." Like, if that's where you're coming from, I'm really not interested to be honest. But if you
Yeah.
have a legitimate question that hasn't been answered, you can ask me.
Yeah.
I may ask you to do some research, but feel free
Mm-hmm.
to ask. I'm not saying
Yeah.
don't, but don't come at me with, "Oh, I watched your live. You're lovely. I
Yeah.
want to fall in love
No.
with you."
Let's be professional when we're asking questions.
Exactly.
Let's ask real questions.
I mean,
I
you can
mean,
send me. You can ask for my bank account details. I'm not gonna say no.
okay, that's another way to look at that. But honestly, like, thank you, Toby. Thank you so much for like the time that you spent to like give us all this information. Um, Toby has said we can't contact her anyhow. So if you have a sensible, well, don't let me use the word sensible, but if you have a really like a valid question, then you can definitely reach out to Toby. Like you have her Instagram. You can. I don't want. Honestly, like I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna put like when I'm editing the video. I'm not gonna put her email and things like that because she has already given me an idea of how people just ask her like some funny questions. We're not gonna
Yeah,
do that. So what
I'm
I'm just gonna,
private, but I'm out here, but I'm still a private person.
yeah, I mean you
Again,
should
if
respect
you
that.
just joined and
Yeah,
you're not sure if your question was answered, I would really
yeah,
honestly say watch the video
yeah,
first, like the recording, to see if we answered your question. If
yeah,
we didn't, then ask me. But it kind of like it's not insulting, but it's a little annoying when
yeah,
you spend 2 hours
yeah,
explaining something to people. They
yeah,
don't watch the video and they just
yeah.
come ask you the same question. It's like, oh,
Again.
are you
Hmm.
crazy?
No facts, because honestly, and I get it. Like sometimes people come on my in my DM and they're asking me questions, and I'm like, oh, there's a video on this already. So like let's try to be like nice and go. Oh, like I'm gonna post this. It's gonna be available for everybody to watch, and let's just go up there like watch the video like, and then if you have follow-up questions, you can always reach out to her on her Instagram. You can reach out to me as well. If
Yeah.
I can't answer the question, I will forward you to Toby to answer
And
your
if
question.
you're following me and you're not following this page, why not? Like you should follow Black Dentist Canada. You probably know someone that's a dentist, or you
Yeah.
need dentists in your future. I hope you actually go see the dentist if you don't, because your teeth is probably very iffy.
Yeah.
So,
Fact. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I decided to do this, because I had like a lot of people are like, oh, we want to practice in North America, but they're like, oh, how do they even get into North America? So I'm
yeah.
like, okay, these are immigration questions that I can't necessarily answer because there's more up to date information. I'm like,
And
let me
there's a
just go
fun
there.
thing, the fun fact I forgot to mention about dentists. I said I was going to say some dentist fun facts,
Okay.
but obviously I didn't remember to. But as a dentist, your degree is equivalent to a master's degree for
Yeah.
like your CRS. So
Mhm.
you don't need to go try to get like a diploma, because I see some
Mhm.
people that they don't know that and they try to get like a
Mhm.
diploma to add to their scores. You
Yeah.
don't need that. For
Mhm.
someone like I have a master's degree in engineering, right? The
Yeah.
same points I'll get for education is what you get as a dentist or as
Mhm.
a doctor. So that
Mhm.
also, or as a lawyer actually.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
kind of helps. So don't spend more money or waste more time trying to get more degrees or certification to improve your chances of having a higher score. As
Yeah.
a dentist or someone in the medical profession, I think
Yeah.
dentists, pharmacists, a lot, doctors have
Doctors.
the same
Yeah.
thing. You
Yeah.
you get the same points as a master's degree holder. So I hope that helps.
Okay. Someone just sent a question. Can I start the immigration process? Okay. I'm a dental student. Can I start the immigration process now? I mean, I'll just let Toby answer that.
Well, if you're a dental student, I don't know what student means, but with my understanding of students, maybe dental student means something different. So you can correct
Like
me.
still in school, like still in dental
If you're
school.
still in school, then no, you need your degree. Like you literally need a degree to
Exactly.
be able to
Exactly.
do this application, because you
Yeah.
need to send your certificate for
Mhm.
assessments, credential
Yeah.
assessments, and then they'll
Yeah.
say, well, yes, it's equivalent to like a dentist in Canada, so you are
Yeah.
equivalent, you get this amount of points. So
Mhm.
if you're still in school, well, you can start by like doing the post immigration plan. You
Mhm.
can start
Yeah.
researching what
Mhm.
would you need to do to
Mhm.
become licensed in Canada, and
Yeah.
maybe study or start learning that
Yeah.
and connecting with people like Dami and everybody else. Dami, that's your name, right? I'm calling you.
Yeah. You're
Okay,
right.
awesome.
Damn. Yeah.
I just want to be sure that I'm not saying the wrong name
Oh no,
on
you're on
live.
point.
So you can reach out and start making those connections. But the actual immigration process, you can't start without having a degree if you are trying to come as a dentist. I mean,
Yeah.
again, if you're not trying to come as a dentist, or you're trying to come as a tailor or something, then
Yeah.
obviously you don't need your
That's a different ball
dentist.
game.
That's a
Yeah.
different route. Yeah.
Yeah. No facts. Like definitely you need your dental degree. You need your in fact there's so many things that go into it. You need your dental degree, you need work experience in Nigeria
Yeah.
or wherever whatever country you're coming from.
Yeah.
You need your work experience, you need there's just so many things. So I would say, yeah, like you said, just start doing your research. If you want to start saving your money now, you can do that. Like for
Exactly.
example, for
Saving.
me,
Yeah.
yeah, for example, for me, like from like my 500 level, I already knew I was leaving Nigeria. So I started saving. Like I started saving like like there was no tomorrow. Already
That's
knew. Do you
smart.
understand? So it just depends. Like you can just start making your plan now, but definitely you would need some things. You would need to work a bit. Like at least I think the minimum work experience is 1 year. I don't know if that's changed, but
Yes.
you
It's still
probably
the same one
it's
year.
still
Yeah.
1 year. Yeah, so you need to have at least work for 1 year. And NYC doesn't is not regarded as working experience, if I'm correct, right? So they don't do they still count?
You can count it. Yes. It just depends on
Okay,
how you
okay.
how you navigate that
How
situation.
you put it?
A lot of people can
Okay,
count their
okay,
NYSC, but you have to be smart about it. You can't call it
okay.
NYSC. You just call it work experience.
Yeah,
There's a lot of ways to go
okay,
around it. So it's yes or
okay.
no. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So all right. So I see that a lot of people. Okay, let me just be sure that I didn't miss any other
So all
questions
the questions are coming in now at the end.
at the end. Like it's like
Nigerians
you
and
guys.
African time.
Let me be sure that I didn't miss anything else. Can anyone? Okay, I already answered this one. Okay, yeah, so that's it. So if you guys have any other follow-up questions that you're thinking about, few minutes to the end, you can you can send me a DM. Okay, if it's something I can answer myself, I will. If not, I'll just like push it over to Canadian Tools. Or you can just reach out to her yourself. Like I'm gonna put her information. Wait 1 second. I'm gonna put her information out here too. Okay, so someone is asking for so you know how you were I already said I was gonna put it like the assessment link. I'm gonna put that on the video as well. But someone is also asking like if there's a link where they can get like information about like all the immigration programs as a whole. I know about federal school workers. So I was already going to put that in there. But is there a website where you can get all the information for
Yeah.
all the programs?
If
Okay.
you go to
Okay.
www.cic.gc.ca, that's the
Okay.
Canadian immigration website. It
Okay.
has all, like, all,
All of
obviously
them?
that's, they're the
Okay.
owners, right? So all the
Okay.
programs, all the information, what you need to do to apply, you can have all of that. You can find all of that information there. Everything, even all the ones I mentioned and the ones I didn't mention today.
Okay.
And then once you've read everything, take notes, have a jotter, write things down. Once you've
Okay.
read up on that, then go on Naira Land, because you're Nigerians, and Naira Land is a platform where Nigerians share information with one another.
Okay.
Go read about immigration on Naira Land. And then once you're done with that, go on. There's so many forums, right? Like
Okay.
CanadaVisa.com is what helped me. It's not for
Okay.
Nigerians, it's for people all over the world. But there was
Yeah.
a wealth of information for me. So go dig up forums where you can be a part of, join a community of people that want to do the same thing with you, make friends. I have
Okay.
a bunch of friends that I met in 2018 online, and we've met in
Me
person in
too.
Canada, and
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
travel together, and they're like my best friends now.
Yeah.
Make a community for yourself. Let the experience, let every part of this whole thing be an experience for you. Making
Yeah.
new friends, asking questions, getting to know people, you know. So yes, to answer your question, the CIC website has all the information. Just
That's
type
awesome.
Canada Immigration. CIC probably the second or the third website.
Third one. Okay. All right. So I'll add the CanadaVisa.com on the video. So I'll just edit it and then put it out there for everyone that that needs it. Okay.
Yes,
So this person just say
cic.gc.ca. Thank you,
just
Tomi.
see. Yeah. Just see. Yeah. All right. Perfect. So all right. So this person just said, thank you, madam. Can't wait to meet you all in Canada. Big
Oh,
chicks can't wait to meet you either.
see you soon. Rooting for you to get here.
We are rooting for you. So you guys, please work on your Canadian immigration. That's like the first step before you even come in and say, okay, you want to become a licensed dentist in Canada. You know, if it's the US you want to go to, fine, amazing. I don't know that they have an immigration system. I don't know much about it, so I'm not gonna speak on what I don't know. Yeah, perfect. So that just brings us to the end of our session. I have taken too much of your time, so I must say thank you, Tobi, for doing this. You
Thank
know,
you so much for
you're
having me.
amazing.
And
Yeah,
I just want to say that my sister is a dentist. She's going to be reaching
yeah,
out to you. So
for
please
sure,
extend
for
the
sure.
same favor.
Of course, are you kidding me? You need to maybe. Well, you might not know this, but like wait 1 second. Okay, you might not know this, but like I treat everyone on my page like they're my family because I just feel like I want everyone to win. You know, I want everybody to do this. Like the reason why I was able to become, the reason why I was able to get into a program in the US anyways was because people helped me. You
Yeah.
know, so I feel like that's the magic. Like if you have a support system, because information is power. So if you don't have that information, even getting into Canada or immigrating to Canada, people helped me. People that were doing it for me, people that were already in Canada. So I want to break this culture of, oh, we've made it, let me shut the door to people that
Exactly.
are coming. Like
Share
I
the
don't,
information. I
yeah,
love it.
I don't like that vibe. Like I feel like if we help each other, because I also feel like outside of maybe the Nigerian culture, like when you meet other people, you see them helping each other. So
Yeah.
let's all help ourselves. That's how it is. We come
That's
better.
what my page is about. That's why I'm
Yeah,
always sharing, even about the
yeah,
most mundane things, about,
yeah,
like, just let's share. And then what I would just ask from everyone that has benefited something today is to, pay it forward. Like, tell
yeah,
everybody about this, tell them how to
yeah,
use the program.
yeah,
Because the more Nigerians we have here, the
yeah,
better for us too. We have a
yeah,
community, right?
yeah,
So the
yeah.
more the merrier. Come,
The more,
come.
the more the merrier. And then anyone can do this. It's not even just like wait 1 second. Yeah, so like as many people that can come into Canada, the better. If we have more people here, the better for everybody. If you have more Nigerians, more Africans, more Indians,
Perfect.
more anything, like people from any culture race, like we want you to come and populate Nigeria, come and populate Canada. That's what we want, because there are too many mountains and land here, bare promises that have barely anyone. I'm just joking, but anyway. All right, so that just brings us to the end of today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Canadian Talks,
You
for coming
guys.
on here.
Thank you for
I hope you
having
guys have
me.
learned a lot. Remember to follow Canadian Talks for all your Canadian immigration inquiries, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Have a good day. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. Thank
Bye.
you.